Google Terms of Service. Our warranties and disclaimers. We provide our services using a commercially reasonable level of skill and care, and we hope that you will enjoy using them. But there are certain things that we don't promise about our services, other than as expressly set out in these terms or additional terms. Neither Google nor its suppliers or distributors make any specific promises about the services. For example, we don't make any commitments about the content within the services, the specific functions of the services, or their reliability, availability, or ability to meet your needs. We provide the services as is. Some jurisdictions provide for certain warranties, like the implied warranty of merchantability, fitness for a particular purpose, and non-infringement. To the extent permitted by law, we exclude all warranties. Liability for our services. When permitted by law, Google or Google's suppliers and distributors will not be responsible for lost profits, revenues, or data, financial losses, or indirect, special, consequential, exemplary, or punitive damages. To the extent permitted by law, the total liability of Google and its suppliers and distributors for any claims under these terms, including for any implied warranties, is limited to the amount you paid us to use the services, or if we choose, to supplying you with the services again. In all cases, Google and its suppliers and distributors will not be liable for any loss or damage that is not reasonably foreseeable. We recognize that in some countries you might have legal rights as a consumer. If you are using the services for a personal purpose, then nothing in these terms or any additional terms limit any consumer legal rights which may not be waived by contract. Business uses of our services. If you are using our services on behalf of a business, that business accepts these terms. It will hold harmless and indemnify Google and its affiliates, officers, agents, and employees from any claim, suit, or action arising from or related to the use of the services or violation of these terms, including any liability or expense arising from claims, losses, damages, suits, judgments, litigation costs, and attorney's fees. About these terms. We may modify these terms or any additional terms that apply to a service to, for example, reflect changes to the law or changes to our service. You should look at the terms regularly. We'll post notices of modifications to these terms on this page. We'll post notice of modified additional terms in the applicable service. Changes will not apply retroactively and will become effective no sooner than 14 days after they are posted. However, changes addressing new functions for a service or changes made for legal reasons will be effective immediately. If you do not agree to the modified terms for a service, you should discontinue your use of that service. If there is a conflict between these terms and the additional terms will control for that conflict. These terms control the relationship between Google and you. They do not create any third-party beneficiary rights. If you do not comply with these terms and we don't take action right away, this doesn't mean that we are giving up any right that we may have, such as taking action in the future. If it turns out that a particular term is not enforceable, this will not affect any other terms. The courts in some countries will not apply California law to some types of disputes. If you reside in one of those countries, then where California law is excluded from applying, your country's law will apply to such disputes related to these terms. Otherwise, you agree that the laws of California, USA, excluding California's choice of law rules, will apply to any disputes arising out of or relating to these terms of services. Similarly, if the courts in your country will not permit you to consent to the jurisdiction and venue of the courts in Santa Clara County, California, USA, then your local jurisdiction and venue will apply to such disputes related to these terms. Otherwise, all claims arising out of or relating to these terms or the services will be litigated exclusively to the federal or state courts of Santa Clara County, California, USA, and you and Google consent to personal jurisdiction in these courts.